Hello YouTube, Marielle here. Um, Today I would like to talk about how my wolf always get his pound of flesh. We were newlyweds and there was no issues, there was no fighting, there was no arguments. There was absolutely nothing. First of all, myself, I'm not an argumentative kind of person. And one of the reasons as well I'm not an argumentative kind of person is because usually it takes me a while to react to things that happens. I don't express anything, I never say anything. My body reacts reacts instinctively, but I still go through the process of double checking. This is what I do, a double check to see, to make sure first I did not what I saw was really what I saw. I just want to make sure. And then after going through the time it takes for me to be sure that a real, what took place really happened, and then I go through the process of thinking of trying to figure out if I did something to provoke it. I don't do that because I lack confidence. The reason why I always do that is because I want to make sure, I want to learn. I tend to do that because I want to learn, and I want to learn that if I make a mistake, I don't make it again next time. It's the way I function. I function on the basis that I want to learn and I want to get better. And you don't get better if you don't take a good look at yourself and what you do and how you interact with people, and you learn from your mistakes. I mean, how do you grow if you don't do that? Because it means otherwise you always go on the attack. And I just don't, it doesn't compute with me. To me, that's, you don't learn that way. And God knows that, at times I can be awkward. I can, I can even say things sometimes, and then later on I think, oh, I shouldn't have said it like that. Oh my God, now I see that, me saying that could potentially mean that. And that's not what I wanted to say. And so, which means that next time I find myself in that position, I will be more considerate, or I would have practiced a better way of saying what I need to say. So that's why I take the time when people, when I feel somebody, reacting a certain reacting negatively towards me, that's why I take it in. I take it in first. I make sure that what I saw was exactly that, and then I go through the process of judging myself and seeing if I could have handled it better, or maybe what I did prior to the incident, I could have handled it better, I could have said it better, I could have worded it better. And that's, and unfortunately, now that I'm learning that, you have people out there, they don't approach you and make you feel awful about yourself. It's not by accident. They do it because they really mean it. Because it means that I have to engage people now in a way that is so not me. And I have to, even within doing that, I have to try to find a balance. It's going to be hard work. But anyway, to go back to how my narcissist always took his pound of flesh no matter what, without provocation. And in that part of the story, as we were newlywed, and like I said, no arguments from me, no disagreement with anything, And you have to understand, one thing I understand as well, that sometimes with newlyweds and new couples, sometimes, especially when you're young and you all started out, you both starting out together, is the lack of money or the lack of financial security can really, really put you at odds, so I did not have to deal with that. I did not go through that tension because of the lack of funds. And add to that I am not an argumentative person. I was never a controlling person, and I had no reason either to try to be controlling in any way. I'm very, very relaxed kind of person. And then add another layer of the fact that if I wanted to decorate the house, or if I wanted to buy something, if I had an idea, or if I came up with anything, he'll just sit back and let me go right ahead and do whatever I needed. He'll just not participate verbally, orally, in any way, shape, or form. So with that amount of freedom early on, there was no need for tension. There was no arguments. And I'm not saying that to try to make myself look a certain way. I am truly telling the truth. So here I was. I remember quite a few times, in our home, in our first home. And at the time I was 24, 25, 26. And it could be that we'll be in our bedroom, or it could be that we'll be passing each other on the hallway. It could be something just like that. And as he would pass me, he'll just look at me, and with a very nice face, no his usual expression, like his voice is always at the same level, his expression's always the same, because usually with me, if I'm not happy, well, you'll know about it. My tone, my voice, the way I look at you, the way I position, you'll just know and you'll feel it. With him, it's beige all the time. So I remember this scene very, very vividly. I was going towards the kitchen, and he was coming back from the kitchen. So we met in the hallway, and as he passed me, he looks at me as he passed, very nicely, like I said, and he goes, "Off you go and shite." Did you hear what I said? Off you go and shite. He said it the first time I heard it, it went here and it came out there. The second time, it went here and it came out there. The third time, I swear, and you have to understand as well, there's another layer you have to add to my situation. I'm a French speaker. He's an English speaker. So add that. So most of the time, I thought I didn't hear him right. I kept thinking, at first it was a case of, he meant nothing, and I just didn't even pay attention to it. But when I started paying attention, I went through starting to believe that, no, I didn't hear that right. No, I didn't. No. Or I even go and say, oh, no, it doesn't mean it. I just dismissed it. I dismissed it all the time. And I even went as far, once I understood what that once I understood, kind of is sunk in really, because he'll say it quite often. Not often every day, but you know, every now and then, just like I said, you know, out of the blue, for no good reason, he'll just come out and say that. And I went as far as thinking, oh, this must be a term of endearment in English of some sort. This must be something like that. And I just don't get it. I'm the one who just doesn't get it. Honestly, I want to laugh. I wish I could just go and open my mouth and start just laughing out loud, because I really can't believe I can't believe it happened. I can't believe I did not see it for what it was, but here it is. Here it is. And things like that really did happen quite a lot. Now that I know what I'm facing, what I'm dealing with, who I am dealing with, it's strange to look at those things and realize that was him. It was a case of things are going too well. It was too peaceful. He wasn't getting fed. He had nothing he could grab onto to create chaos. So, you know, insulting me like this was enough for him. Or if it wasn't enough, but that was him starting that was him maybe just starting to plant seeds, basically starting his whole game kind of thing, and probably even testing me to see how I would react, and then waiting and hoping that if I react, then he could jump on that and then start a whole thing. And since I never reacted, he wasn't able to start mayhem. Once you understand what's happening, it can be really time consuming to try to figure out why he did that or why that meant. Sometimes you know, but it's a case of there's so many different reasons he could have started it. It's definitely trying for the mind, because the mind just constantly wants to solve those things. The mind wants to understand, needs to understand, so it can categorize and put those in somewhere, you know, and until it successfully does that, it just doesn't want to shut up. You know, this is why I'm now coming to YouTube and trying to purge myself out of all of those strange moments, those strange stories, those really crazy things, because being finally able to get it out of me, I can maybe see those things in a different way and see them for what they are, and it'll help me make better sense, as well, with the help of all the information I'm getting out from other YouTubers, and the answers that people, the feedbacks from people, and the books that I'm reading on the subject. I mean, for instance, like last summer we went on a cruise, and it's been, you know, peaceful, and it was really a really pleasant time for the entire family. Again, it's a holiday I had to push for us to have, because I wanted something, you know, to celebrate my son for finishing, and being on his way. And before he went away, I just wanted us to have, some good times together. So everything was going fine. The kids were happy, and I was happy, and it looked like he was happy. Now I know that man is never happy, but it looked like he was happy. And the kids went to a club thing that was happening in the evening. They were always out, and that evening we went to eat together. And as usual, I'm the one who's chatting and providing the entertainment and, coming up with conversation and making a fool of myself and trying to always make him feel cheery and good and, and then his meal came. And there was something very strange about that piece of meat he was given to. It looked really like a piece of fish, and I was commenting on that. Just really in the spirit of the moment, and it was a light comment, and out of nowhere. And he's never done that. That particular scene, it has never happened in our lives the whole time we've been together. He looked straight at me. He lengthened his neck. He looked at me with so much aggression. And he thumped his hand on the table. And right now I can't even remember what he even said. And then he just went back to what he was doing, as if nothing happened. Like he said, nothing. I was completely taken aback. I was shocked. I was like, what did I just see? Did this just happen? I mean, your whole head is just making a complete loop or something. There must be an expression for that. And I was inside. It's almost as if inside my head I was on the chair, but I was no longer on the chair. I just went back and just fell on the floor, because it's a case of, what's that? What did I just see? And even the couple, because while we were inside that cruise, that restaurant, the tables are quite close together, and there was a mother and a daughter who was sitting, basically next to us, and they went silent too. And my husband my wolf just went back to his meal and just eating his meal, and as if, nothing ever happened. And the thing is, to anybody else, it could, even as I'm telling you this, you might even say, oh, maybe you said something, or maybe you insisted too much, or you must have said something that really triggered him, because it's just such a crazy reaction that anybody who's not in the know would automatically think that if it happens, it could only happen if maybe you're in a habit of criticizing him, and that was him just saying, putting the boundaries and going, enough is enough. But I swear, it's not like that at all. And this way of always coming at you at the most unexpected moment and full force, it almost looked like, the cobra, when they strike, they come and they're like this and they're like this, and then suddenly they just come at you and then they go. That's exactly what it feels like. Those sudden attacks that just comes out of nowhere. And looking back, I realize he does that every time I am actually very happy. In my head, I'm happy and I'm feeling good, and the moment, the occasion is lending itself to a happy moment. So, and everything is going well. You just don't expect it. So you're not in a moment where you can expect something to happen. So that's when he strikes. That's when my wolf strikes, almost all the time. And it is in such a way, because you don't expect it, or because I don't expect it, I can't react. It's almost like being a, what's the saying? A deer caught in light, or something like that. You're just like, you're frozen because you don't expect it. It's not, it hasn't been provoked. It comes out of the blue. And at the moment where not only your mind, but your heart and your emotion and all of you is engaged in a happy situation. So, I mean, imagine you're in the middle of, that must be what those people during wartime, they experience. Sometimes not even in wartime. It's a case of you're at the wedding and you're happy, everybody's dancing, and then suddenly, whoever drops a bomb on you. That must be that. And it's chaos and it's panic and it's blood everywhere, and it's like your life was one way one second, and then the next second it's something completely different. And he's there happy and merry, and it continues as if nothing happened. And that's how he takes his pound of flesh. Because remember, in my case, my wolf is a passive-aggressive, covert abuser. And his goal is to get his supply. But he never comes straight at me to get his supply. He either seduces me first, or he waits for me to be happy. He waits for me to be disarmed. He waits for me to be relaxed. Always.